Guys.
Woo! There we are.
Yahoo!
Ready.
Where's the ladder? Looks like we topped them last year or 2 years ago.
About 2 years ago.
A lot
I
of
don't think we did
suckers.
this middle one.
Yep.
Axiom for pruning is that you want to be able to throw the family cow through the branches. So we took a lot off these guys to be able to get it through the branches. So,
We spend a lot of time bench pressing cows.
yes. I'm Pepper Bromelmeier. Mark Randolph. Greetings and salutations.
Yes.
This is the Heirloom Apple Conservancy, which we started in 1999.
Unbelievable.
It used to be the orchard about nothing because it was a joke that we never could get anything to grow out here because we started with trying to gather sign wood from old antique apple varieties and start our own. And yeah, that didn't pan out. So we decided to buy trees, and we had to research all over the country to find heirloom varieties of apples to grow out here. And we ended up with like, what, 15 different varieties? Yep. Something like that. 10 each of about 15 different varieties. So we had started out with 150 trees, and you know, both of us had full-time jobs, so it was kind of a hobby, just kind of like having fun and learning how to prune and learning how to take care of an orchard that we knew nothing about, really. Mm-hmm. So here we are now, 22 years later, 23 on some of these trees.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, so it's a labor of love. We just come down here and have a good time and commune with this wonderful orchard. It's a great space. And then at the end of the year, we get to have some fun apples to eat and make applesauce and cider and hard cider. And there we are. Anything to add to that, sir?
Gets us out in all kinds of weather.
It does.
Like a perfect March day.
Mark would ride his bike up to our house and pick wild apple trees, apples off the wild apple trees. And we both heard the story on NPR about how heirloom varieties of apples were going extinct. So he says, what do you think about starting an heirloom apple orchard, Pep? So here it is.
Here it is.
All righty. So this
careful
time of
what you
year
wish
we are
for.
pruning. You like to be able to do it when they're dormant. And so they're still dormant, but man, we've had some warm weather. And so I was down in Indiana, they're already having leaves pushed. So
Not here.
not here. So yay. And we get to have Lake Michigan to thank for that because it keeps it colder here in the spring. Over in Gaylord, things will start to prune or come out earlier than here. So, pruning. You want to try to get enough space to get the family cow out of here. We probably ought to get the
Yeah. Did not want to
loppers
go.
on that guy.
Really?
Got it. All right, I'm gonna get the ladder.
Yeah, if we're going to top it, might as well. But it's almost chainsaw size.
It is almost chainsaw size. Actually, there's probably not almost about it, but
You gonna saw it?
yeah. If you look at this tree, how it's open and you try to not have things shading things down below it. We've gotten rid of all the upright stuff. So you're trying to get it so that it doesn't shade the branches below it and that it's not so high that you can't pick it. You know, at this point, this ladder, we have another one that's a lot taller than this one, but it's a real pain to have a tree that's this tall. So
Yep.
we're gonna cut this baby down. I think we should probably leave that one going to the north. These are the hard decisions. It's like a whole tree is coming out of this tree.
Yeah, there's more wood in the top of that tree than the orchard was for the first 3 years.
No doubt. When you top it, next year we're going to be, it'll be exploding with these guys.
Little vertical suckers.
Suckers. This is going to be a bit. Sawdust in the eyes. So I cut on this side so that when I finally break through, it will not rip the bark.
Let's see if I can pull some tension on that.
Huh?
See if I can help open up the cut there.
All right, tree.
Thank you for all you've done for us.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it.
Is it done?
Yep. Want to push my way?
Okay. I'm dropping this off. Okay. Now. Oh my gosh.
Heave.
Look out your head, Mark.
Okay. Look out your head.
Woo! Oh my God. Wow.
That's a lot of tree.
I think that the cow can go through the branches now.
Yeah.
Whew! I'm gonna put a drop of thieves on here. So that'll be some good chipper food.
Just to be clear, this is not a how-to video.
This is a we didn't top it early enough video.
By a decade.
By a decade. Thieves oil. Since there's been fire blight in the orchard, I want to make sure when you make a big cut, it opens it up for the bacterial infection of fire blight to come through. So a little prevention. I don't see any fire blight on this tree, but you know, it could pop in from another one. So
Yeah, it's everywhere.
yeah, you typically don't want straight up stuff.
It's vegetative. It doesn't bear fruit when it's vertical. It's just
And
for
it
leaves.
will shade stuff down below it, and it just makes for a taller tree down the road. So you generally want something that's got about this angle on it, so that when the weight of the apples comes on, it's at 90. You got something that's straight up like that, it doesn't do that. He's doing that so he can get room for the chipper. So we utilize the chips as mycorrhizal fungi food. So as they are blown back underneath the trees, they'll provide food for mycorrhizal fungi. This is an organic orchard. We use neem oil and fish oil and
We called in the eagle once with fish oil, and he was looking for something to eat. He could smell it from wherever.
I'll send you out there.
Gonna need a saw for the rest of this.
Oh boy. So you don't typically want to have like one branch right over the top of another one, because the top branch will shade the one below it, depending on which direction the sun is. All right, coming down. Whew. So we've pruned this guy pretty hard this year.
Yeah, I don't think we need to do a whole lot more damage.
Hey, this next tree is going to be easy. See, this one we took the big stuff out a few years ago. So we've done a lot with soil health over the years in here, where we've chipped up the apple trees and put compost in and cover crops when we first started in here. And we will, as we're mowing in the summertime, we'll leave all the flowering stuff so that when the bees need some food, they can just come in and take off. Especially the stuff that's near the woods. It's amazing how the woodland wildflowers are starting to come into the orchard, which we
Especially down here in the shade, this end. Hey Pep, before we get started on this tree, you want to check out from the south, take a look at the top of that, where it was cut on the trunk of this, because it looks like, is that blight?
Probably, yeah.
Thought it looked like it.
But the stuff you cut off, they look okay. So I think we're all right. Oh, it's kind of dark here.
Looks like it got burned.
That's
Kind of charcoal
probably
looking.
fire blight, but I think we might have stemmed it. So this is obviously a very upright tree. So I'm going to hang a branch on here, if I can find one. Let's see. Weave this guy on here and tie it. And then hopefully that'll send it in a good direction. Yeah.
Yeah, the wood's looking clean on the inside.
Yay. Probably wouldn't hurt to throw a little bit of thieves on some of the bigger ones anyway. So a lot of stuff that we've learned from extension, you know, the Hort Station over in Lima County.
I was going to say most of what we learned is trial and error.
And most of what we learned is trial and error. But we did learn some stuff from those guys. And Michael Phillips from East, he's done some teaching at the Small Farms Conference that CrossX does. That's where we got the idea of chipping up this wood. You have this is like ramial wood chips, he called it. It's a French term, where all the nutrients that in a hardwood tree are going to be out in these outer branches, 2 inches and less in diameter. Obviously, this is bigger than that, but we're going to chip it up anyway because most of it's going to be small stuff. But rather than whole trunk, the whole trunk is kind of devoid of the nutrients that you want, but those outer branches have all the good stuff in them. So when we chip that up, it provides food for the mycorrhizal fungi. You definitely want to get stuff that's growing back into the tree, like this guy here that's creating its own little thing here. The wraps around the bottom are to prevent mice and voles and shrew damage in the wintertime. The ones that are the best, though, it's those caged ones. Black ones can tend to, absorb the heat. It gets too hot in there. But those guys are great. It allows the breeze to go through and mice can't get in.
The deer come in now, they'll gnaw on branches.
Anything that's down low, yeah. And they have. There's been times that like a tree fell on the fence and the deer got in and nipped a bunch of stuff off. But they were already old by that point, so it wasn't a huge loss. But there's been lots of fence repair. There's only one line that's hot. And it's the first of it goes above the woven wire, and then the first one there is hot, and it's only charged by a solar panel on the other side. But it generally keeps them out pretty well.
We're not very fast pruners, but the point is to spend time.
In the orchard anyway.
Be one. The orchard and the trees. Wind, sun, snow, rain.
So I'm doing this, I think I already said this, but to weight down this branch to go in the direction I want it to go instead of straight up.
And what was left of this tree was messy.
It might have been 2 years since we pruned this one.
Yeah.
We used to have sheep in here, and we used to have chickens. So we had a chicken trailer that we would pull through here and fertilized in here. Oh my God. It was amazing. You could tell which row they were in and which one they were not. And so we did that for about 15 years and then decided not to raise chickens anymore. But man, I tell you, that was the greatest weed and feed. They also, kept insects down and that kind of stuff. The sheep, unfortunately, they
climb trees.
They climb trees.
Who knew?
Yeah, who knew? They'd put their foot on the lower branch and raise up to get the next one. So they were going to be annihilating things. So we thought, okay, you don't get to stay. Darn it. So no sheep in the orchard, but the chickens were great. We sprayed kind of a wake-up spray with neem oil and fish oil and seaweed and any micronutrients that it might need. If we get a soil test and it says it needs some micronutrients, we'll put that in the compost and spread that around.
Compost tea.
Compost tea we have done in the past. We've got a 250-gallon sprayer. It's got a handgun. We drive the truck. We pull it down with the truck and just walk behind and use the hand sprayer.
When you're spraying fish oil, you pretty much know which way the wind is blowing.
And you try to
nasty.
stand upwind, not downwind. It is a smelly thing. We lost all of our snow already. We've already had 70-degree weather up here. And then you get the really cold stuff comes in, and that's also hard on a tree. Mm-hmm. So it's possible that that might have something to do with why we're not getting such good production.
Yeah. The benefit of 15 different varieties is that they flower at different times and they get ripe at different times, and so it spreads out the work. Unfortunately, randomly. We got to get these before they flower. We have to harvest those and those over there. So
the white truck over there, we call it the tread, which is the truck shed. We were gonna donate it to CMU Public Radio, and it was out here, and we were driving it and getting ready to send it to them, and the brake line broke. The fluid went on the ground. I'm like, oh, lovely. In my organic orchard, I just got some brake fluid falling out of there. But it didn't go anywhere after that. And then it sat there for another year. And all of a sudden, I'm thinking, why are we using ropes with sleds behind us to ski back here into the orchard to bring all the tools in when we have a tread right there, which is the truck shed? So all of our tools get stored in the tread. There's our bee boxes up on the hill. We have a friend, Steve Redmond, who's a beekeeper. He has Shadowland honey, and he would often bring them up to commercial orchards up here, but they then spray toxic chemicals, and so he would like to have ours stay here all season. So he will sometimes bring more than just this, depending on, if he's pollinating, any of the orchards around here. We can sometimes have like 11 hives out here. And he amazingly left them here this winter, but he usually takes them back with him. But they are overwintering. I'll be curious just to see if they survived in the old north. So yeah, we're lucky to have a beekeeper come bring bees here so that we can have better pollination.
Having a diverse mix of ground cover and then being so deep in the woods, I think there's a lot of wild bees that come through and help pollinate as well.
Oh, and also as a part of our pollinator project, we've got in the valley over there where there are no trees, because that's your cold air drainage. You get when it gets cold in the spring, it'll drop down into that valley. So warm season wildflowers are wonderful because they don't have to worry about the cold, and so we planted probably about 20 different varieties of wildflowers down there, and we solarized it first. So I gathered up greenhouse plastic from people's old hoop houses, and we cut it, dug a trench and stuffed the edges of it in there, and oh my gosh, did it get hot in there. And you leave it there for about 3 months, and when you take it off, it's all dead. So it's an organic way of preparing for the wildflower seeding. So I raked all the thatch out of there, and then we overseeded it last November for part of it, and then 2 years ago for the part on the other side. And we also have, you can see the sumac over there, and man, I tell you, the bumblebees love the sumac. So with those are full, and we're gonna manage that as sumac so that it can also provide year-round or season-long food. And there's also black raspberries and blackberries down there in the valley, so they also provide some food for those little ladies. That tree behind us that we topped, it's going to push like crazy and have all kinds of suckers coming up, and so you can come in August and take care of those guys, which would have reduced the amount of time doing this. But it appears like in August we always have something else going on.
We've said that for a bunch of Marches where we're going to get back in August.
But yeah, I definitely have to come back in August.
You can try it this year, see what happens.
Yes, indeed.
You done?
I think.
I'm done.
All right. Dang. It is definitely low intensity. Both of us having the full-time jobs for all these years. It has been as we get to it, and it still produces apples, which is amazing.
Yeah.